Alabama. The name of this is Alabama. Because I've just discovered that Evan Woods used to call herself, or be called by Marilyn Manson, Alabama, from True Romance. This character was created by Patricia Arquette. She played opposite Christian Slater in this really cool film, actually. And Alabama she was a cool girl and she had cool style. And if there was any sort of dress up, that's who I would go as. So I really need some kind of sort of maybe some aquamarine sunglasses. Let me take this off and I'll talk about what I wanted to. That's better. Because I made a video that was just a couple of little parts starting to talk about Evan Rachel Wood's, Marilyn Manson, and their situation. But something I didn't really have time to touch upon, and I think it's quite interesting, of course it's interesting, is, this is why we're all talking about this, I think, is that Marilyn Manson is suing Rachel Evan Wood, and it's very curious about what, because he's not Johnny Depping her. Okay, this isn't Depp and Heard, because he's not saying everything you've ever said about me is untrue, and he's not suing for defamation. It's quite specific, strangely specific, and it appears to revolve around Ilma Gore, So Rachel Evan Wood has a partner whose name is Ilma Gore. This sounds like a made-up name. I don't know if it is or not. She's an Australian woman who's a twin. She has difficult history with her own family, and she's a contemporary artist, which is to say, she's talented, but which is to say that she does some really batshit things, and a lot of things that are attention grabbing. This is why we might use contemporary artists to draw attention to, sorry, I'm going to be tutoing with my hair now, to draw attention to projects or causes, right? So, she's done things like paint in blood donors' blood, and things such as sell tattoo space on her body for $10 a pop, to the tune of, $18,000, I think, where she said, look, whatever you want on, a logo, your name, put your name on my body. She's a person that needs to, it's nearly like she doesn't feel unless she's really feeling something intense. And a lot of what Marilyn Manson is suing Evan Rachel Wood for seems to revolve around things that Ilma's right at the heart of, at the core of. I need to turn that light up. It's really shining bright. Don't know if that's any better. Namely, he's saying that they've falsified documents, made up some documents saying that they're from the FBI and sent these documents out to other women who have alleged things against Marilyn Manson and saying, look, Evan Woods is, she's speaking up against Marilyn Manson, and, this means that you're probably in danger. So this is what is central to what's, being brought against Evan Woods. Not that she's defaming him, that he didn't rape her, not that, he wasn't abusive, that he hasn't threatened to kill her, that he didn't want her murdered with a sledgehammer. I mean, all of these things are true. He's said this, that he wishes great harm against her, right? And, I just thought that this was quite interesting, and it's something that I just neglected to bring up in the little videos that I posted today. So I just wanted to mention it because it's something that I'm really interested in further. It's going to, we'll see how it all plays out clearly. But don't you just find that curious that he's not suing her for defamation? This isn't Johnny Depp trying to, bring global annihilation on Amber Heard. He's just saying, oh, and they wrote letters, so they're sort of manipulating people, telling them what to say. I mean, we don't know how we don't know in what order their contact went in. Maybe, these women who are alleging Manson abused them, maybe just trying to get them to complete forms and things as a way of structuring, because, they pick on Evan for writing out she wrote a script to read out about her abuse. Well, you would. It makes sense to write it down, make a statement, because it's going to be very emotional and difficult. So you need to be able to read it out clearly and not miss anything, right? Yeah, so that was something I just found really interesting is, Marilyn Manson's suing, and everyone's like sitting on the edge of their seat, or, if you're me, sitting on the edge of your toilet, sitting on your throne, waiting for this, another juicy, explosive court case. It's simply not what's happening. What's happening is something completely different. Over a dozen women joining forces with Evan Woods. And sure, look, Ilma Gore seems to be messing it up for everybody. And if she is working Evan up into a frenzy as some sort of weird contemporary art project, I mean, that is unforgivable. But there's a lot of women, and 4 are suing him. I'm not sure if the woman from Game of Thrones, is it Esme Bianco, is one of the 4 women who are suing him. But the lawsuits against him, and again, people say, oh, but look at how similar they are. Yeah, because abusers generally just abuse in the same way, right? Each abuser might have a slightly different thing, they all abuse in the same way. So you've got, SA and battery, imprisonment and trafficking being themes here. R-word and battery is what Esme alleges. And yeah, I just think this bears greater consideration, and not just to get all overexcited and think, yeah, this is just another Amber, because it seems to be rather different. It's funny because Marilyn Manson, he seems to communicate about women in the same derogatory way that Johnny Depp does. They both, and where you're supposed to be able to differentiate between, oh, that's art, and then now he's kidding, oh, but that's real because he's being nice. But anything that makes him look good, and even Rachel Woods or the other people making accusations, whatever makes them look bad and him look good, that's the truth. And anyway, so I just regretted not mentioning that in the initial videos, because I just find that really fascinating. I think that is such a key difference. And yeah, let's see what happens. That's all we can do. And, this is why we should be sitting on the fence. I think people don't really understand trauma bonding, boundaries, the way boundaries are broken down, the way people can be in these abusive relationships. And I think, yeah, there needs to be a lot more fence sitting. There is a lot of bashing and people just making these assumptions. They hear lawsuit, they hear he's suing her. Oh, just you wait now, girl. Yeah, we're looking forward to this humiliation ritual. No, it's nothing like that. It's a lot of nitpicking, and it's mostly centered around her partner, Ilma Gore. And the only thing that seems to relate, I might be wrong about this, but the only thing that seems to relate directly to Evan Woods is, the one about, impersonating FBI agents and writing these letters to these other accusers. People will see it all different ways. They have a lot of things that sound the same type of abuse, sexual assault and battery, imprisonment, etc., trafficking. And people say that's because their story is a construct. Well, it's probably true, because that's just his MO, and sadly, because, people, if there's one lie, people just assume everything else is a lie. If Ilma Gore has gotten in Evan Rachel Wood's ear and messed her up and just taken her off course, that is a real travesty, and it's an injustice, because, people will see there's this one lie and then it just tarnishes everything. And I said, as if there's even one truth in this, then that is god awful. Do people know that Evan Rachel Wood was campaigning for sexual assault victims for years and years ago, and to change the statute of limitations and not naming Marilyn Manson? And yes, it looks really weird with the HBO special Phoenix Rising, but I feel pretty sure that she was campaigning and talking to the right people and getting things changed before, well before trying to sort of highlight herself to the public. She really seems to be a true advocate. Anyway, that's all I wanted to mention. I wanted to say that when we're looking at this wholly, we've got to actually look closely at what Manson is actually trying to sue her for, because it's not defamation. It's not, there's loss of earnings because you have ruined me, because you've said all these terrible things about me, and none of them are true. He's not saying that at all. Yeah, and I just find it really interesting. Anyway, I'll speak to you later. Bye.